Hello everyone, this is part 10 of What If Naruto Was Exiled After He Brought Sasuke Back, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. Who the hell are you? Tsunade demanded. Oh, Bar-chan, I come seeking answers for a certain blonde that we are both fond of. Jiraiya studied the shade and paled. Kyuubi, the human form of the fox demon lord, smirked as he revealed his 9 ghostly tails. You're smarter than you look, Jiraiya of the Sannin. So Naruto's S. Tsunade said, slumping into her seat, her expression crushed. No. Her head snapped up and there was a hopeful look in her eyes. He's alive. But how? You're here. I am, as I've said to others, I am but a shadow of my former self. Naruto is fine. He holds my chakra, which with each passing day becomes his. I came for answers. He does not know I am here, and depending on what I hear, he may never know. Kyuubi said. He moved about and sat on the chair across from the Hokage, and quirked an eyebrow. Now, are we going to talk like civilized adults, or would you rather we rant and rampage and learn nothing? Jiraiya sat on the edge of the desk and Tsunade looked at the Kyuubi shade. Is he really alright? She asked. Snorts, you care after exiling him. What, realize you lost a powerful weapon? Kyuubi asked with disdain. The kid was crushed being exiled. I have thought long and hard about getting him to come back here and continue what I started. There is much you don't know. Tsunade said. She spent the next hour telling the Kyuubi about the falsified signatures, of Hinata's pact with the vengeance spirit, of the death of the council, the Hyuga M. What she'd learned from Hinata about Kakashi's memories. I have guys team out looking for Naruto to bring him back. Tsunade concluded. Kyuubi was thinking. You have given me a lot to think about. He said after a moment of silence. I will tell you some of what the kid has been doing, not all. That is his choice, Kyuubi warned. After being exiled, the Anbu tried to kill him. They failed as a friend of Naruto's. Makahamaru Melwasu. Jiraiya interjected. Yes, don't interrupt. Kyuubi admonished. Sorry. Jiraiya muttered. Mika saved Naruto and convinced him to come with him to Kwai's mountain, and yes, it really exists. Kyuubi said, seeing Jiraiya about to speak again. Kwai took them both in and trained them both. He cleaned up Naruto's chakra control problems and taijutsu. He then trained them both in kenjutsu. Over time Naruto became better. He learned from Kwai's library. Kyuubi smiled fondly. The kid had a real desire to learn, and with praise from Kwai, myself and Mika, Naruto flourished. The nearby fishing village helped. They had no notions or ideas about the kid. They saw him as a blonde youth who worked and trained hard. He helped around the village when Kwai would come down for his games, and him and Mika were popular with many. Kyuubi smiled, seeing their looks of pain. Kwai then found a ritual that would separate me from Naruto, without killing the boy. We talked about it, and Naruto agreed. It didn't go quite as planned. As you can see, I don't have a physical body and no chakra. We heard about the incident with the bandits. Jiraiya said, and Kyuubi nodded. The boys did extremely well. They killed the bandits and rescued the villagers. The leader managed to escape, but that happens with so many numbers against just 2. Kyuubi agreed. So, are they still on this mountain? Tsunade asked. Kakukaku. Heavens no. I took them as my baiti, or apprentices, and took them to the Undervis. The shock and explosion of disbelief from the 2 Sannin had Kyuubi chuckling like mad in his mind, while his facial features remained indifferent. Yes, I took them to the Undervis. There they are learning much and I planned on bringing them back over soon. They are both quick studies, fastest I saw anyone learn without having to steal it with a copy eye. Tsunade wanted to ask what kind of training, but figured the fox wouldn't tell her. What do you plan to do? She asked. As I said, I had thought of revenge. Twisting the kid to seek vengeance, but it sounds like the little Hyuga heir has been kicking ass and taking names. He chuckled. So she has a desire for the kid. He stroked his chin and smiled. Oh, the teasing I could give him with that knowledge. Kyuubi, what do you plan to do, and please, be serious. Tsunade asked again. Sigh, I will tell the kid about the fake signature and I will tell him that the council had been executed for treason. I won't tell him about the Hyuga girl. And yes, she's still Hyuga, despite what she may say. If you can send a message to your team, recall them. I am uncertain how long this stage in their training may take. We will come through sooner when we return. Naruto wishes to help the Gaara boy. Tsunade noted that, when he calls someone friend, he truly means it. The Uchiha and the Haruno broke their paths with him. Up until I spoke with you, I thought you had as well. He looked at Jiraiya. And young Micah will want words with you on how you trained Naruto. You and the Cyclops both will need to answer some hard truth questions. Tsunade's eyes narrowed. While Hinata got her pound of Jiraiya, it sounds like I should prepare you and Kakashi a room in the hospital. Just promise me Melwasu won't use his blood manipulation on me. I saw the remains of the Anbu. Kyuubi sighed. That I can promise. He said. He didn't tell them Micah sacrificing his ability to release him. He didn't tell them the specific training that both boys were under. Just leave that as a surprise. Kyuubi thought. Meanwhile, Neji hated the desert, and he found the desert pressing down upon him. He looked over and saw Itachi was unaffected and he mentally cursed the Uchiha. What was I thinking agreeing to continue the search while we left Guy with Gaara? Neji wondered. The Kazekage had been absolute that he would continue his own search as well. Lee had accepted the sand user's word and with Tenten managed to convince Neji to move on. Not like that took much. I'm getting soft letting them both use those damn soft eyes and fake tears to manipulate me. So you betrayed your clan, ked your best friend and left Konoha all with the third's knowledge. Tenten asked Itachi. Yes, I turned myself over to him moments after I ended my clan. Sasuke placed in a trance, but sadly, my father thought ahead on that. What do you mean? The weapons mistress asked. My father placed a Sharingan-enhanced genjutsu on Sasuke to make him hate not only myself, but subconsciously to have him move towards hating and King Naruto eventually. My own Mangekyo Sharingan delayed it by forcing his hatred of me to double, while easing it away from Naruto. It seems to have worked. Neji snorted. You think Uchiha? Too clever for your own good. It worked so well that your little brother betrayed Konoha to seek power in order to destroy you and handed himself and your family's bloodline over to Orochimaru, who according to the bingo book isn't afraid of experimentation. Itachi was quiet for a moment. The day I ked my best friend, he had been ordered by my own father to K me for refusing to K Naruto. I told him I was one of those the Hokage trusted to protect the boy, and I found my one clan more often than not leading mobs to K the boy. Some would get through, and Naruto would be slightly hurt, but I and a few others would fight and K those that tried. My father ordered me to K Naruto to prove my loyalty. Itachi snorted. My loyalty to the clan. I asked about the oaths I swore, and he said there would always be new Hokages. Tenten and Lee looked shocked at what they were hearing. Neji had heard similar words from Hyashi's mouth when he'd send branch family members to try and K Naruto. After I ked Shisui, I returned to the Uchiha district, sealed the doors with the Devil's Gate seal and went to see my father. The clan members that saw me, attacked me. They all swore that Naruto and the Hokage would be S by dawn. Lee looked outraged and Tenten did as well. Neji had watched Hinata purge the Hyuga clan and knew it was not something to be seen lightly. I reached my father's home, he used my mother and brother as bargaining pieces. He swore he'd K them as they'd made me weak. Itachi looked at Neji. They made me stronger than everyone ever thought. When father's mother's TI attacked, I held him in Mangekyo and once I released him, I ked him. Itachi looked over the horizon. I told Sasuke I left him alive because I didn't find him worth king. I used my Sharingan to force that image into his mind, trying to burn out the orders my father had installed in him. At dawn I turned myself over to the Hokage. They continued the search looking in every direction as they continued to walk. The original plan had been for me to get in with Orochimaru, it failed as he tried to gain control of my Sharingan. However, I caught the attention of Akatsuki and Jiraiya convinced me to remain and learn about the goals. You were Lord Jiraiya's spy network. Neji said. Itachi smiled. Me and others, yes. Who better to find out about enemies than a spy in their own fold? Lee paused. But why did you attack Kakashi after the Otosuna invasion? I defended myself. I didn't harm him, and I didn't harm Naruto. I read the report on that. Neji said. You used a woman to lure Jiraiya away. Itachi smiled and actually chuckled. I slipped a note on her while Kisame wasn't looking. It is how I would pass notes on to Jiraiya without being seen. He showed up just in time and Kisame fought Naruto a bit and was on the losing side. The only flaw had been the arrival of Sasuke. You broke his arm and left him locked in his mind. Neji said. Should have killed him. Tenten muttered. Save us all the trouble now. I could have, but he is my little brother. Itachi agreed. It was a moment of kindness. I am human after all. Hey, Lee called and they saw he was on a dune. They caught up to him and froze. Suna was burning. Under this. I'm so bored. Naruto said. Read a scroll. Micah chirped from his bed. Why did the fox have to go back to Konoha? Micah sighed. He wanted some answers. He didn't tell me why, only to make sure you stayed out of trouble till he gets back. Me. You're the one who had 6 of those 4-armed dungeon dwellers chasing you. Naruto counted. The Oroga fierce warriors. And it wasn't my fault. How was I to know she was their chieftain's daughter? I don't know, like maybe the numerous bodyguards. How about the tiara around her forehead? Naruto counted. So, you and Vieira? Micah asked, trying to change the subject. We are not talking about that. Naruto counted. All right. Micah agreed and smirked. What about Shiraiza? Naruto groaned. I told you nothing happened there. I woke up and she was in my bed. So you're saying something happened with that Vieira? Micah said and laughed as Naruto growled. Almost convincing, bro. Maybe in a couple more years it will be deeper and not sound like one of Chandrala's little ones. Naruto scowled. You know, I swear she likes being pregnant. He said after a bit. 4th time. Micah agreed. So, you think Shippo's going to admit his feelings for Evie? Micah snorted. Shippo don't know who he wants. I saw him chasing that wolf demon a week before we left. And then Evie the night before we went hunting. Hey, Micah. Naruto said, his voice hesitant. HN. Got him to continue. I've been thinking. You mentioned Hinata always watching me when we were younger. Micah smiled at this. Yeah, I told you about how she acted after I became a genin. Micah was enjoying this. And well, I was wondering, if we ever saw her, what should I say, like ask her out? Or forget it. She's probably got a boyfriend or her clan has her in an arranged marriage. Naruto said, waving off his thought. Slow down, bro. Did she have a boyfriend when you last saw her? Naruto crossed his arms. Well, no, but it's been nearly 2 years. Besides, I remember Kiba always sniffing around her, and you're assuming. You know what that means. I make an ass out of you and me. Naruto said and sighed again. I just been thinking about what the fox said, and I know we don't talk about it often, but hey, what are friends and brothers for? Micah asked. To annoy and tease and be barkers. Naruto counted. Those work. Micah agreed. But we're also here to listen and help. Naruto closed his eyes for a moment. The more I focus on my memories, I see Hinata a lot when I turn around. It's like, told you she was stalking you. She liked you. But why? Naruto asked. Micah shrugged. Have to ask her that. And if you don't ask her out, can I? No, you may not. I know where you've been. You're such a manwhore. Micah laughed. What can I say? I like being touched and touching. Manwhore. Naruto muttered playfully. Hey, Naruto. What if things don't work out back in our world? You think Master will let us come back here? Micah asked after a bit. You like it here, or is it a certain girl with green eyes that you like? Naruto teased. Shut up. I don't know her, or anything. Never stopped you before. I know Shippo was not pleased when you slept with his sister, and dude, she's 1,000 years old. But she still blushed like a schoolgirl and ROM. Naruto yelled, covering his head with a pillow. Micah laughed. You really need to open up a little, bro. Everyone's a pervert. It just rates on how far you take it. I haven't had S in public. I don't read those orange books. I just like women and find them comfortable to be with. Naruto paused. Micah, when we were on Kwai's mountain, I read a book, it talked about dragons. I know. I'm scared too, bro. We both know we've changed. Hell, my eyes and hair weren't like this. I know. You used to have black hair and your eyes were brown when we were little. And you've changed as well, I think. I think Master Q was right when he called me a Hanyu. I think when I reach a certain age I'll quit aging. His gold eyes locked on Naruto. And I think, just from the way he introduced you to the Kitsune at the Fox Den, there is something. I think I'm his successor or something like it. Naruto said softly. The pair sat in silence, the topics they'd talked about weighing on their minds. Where the hell is that stupid fox? Suna was burning. What the hell? Tenten asked, stopping next to Neji while Itachi stood apart looking down. Who could do this, and this quickly? Deidara and Sasori. Itachi said. Who? Tenten said. Akatsuki members. Both S-class Nuke Nin. Neji said. Guy Sensei. Lee said and was going to race down, but Neji caught his arm. Neji-kun, let me go, please. Lee said looking at his other lover. We need to do this right, Lee. We can't rush in, we don't know what or who is waiting. Neji said and he felt bad denying Lee his request. The dark-haired boy saw Guy as the father he'd never had. Neji had confessed to Lee and Tenten one night in their apartment that he too saw him as a surrogate father. It was king him not knowing, but he had to think about the team and the mission. Search pattern Omega, he said after a moment. Uchiha take rear guard. Itachi nodded. He didn't know their formations and it would be best for him to protect their backs and remain out of their way. Neji. All four turned to see Hinata's team approaching. Hinata, he asked, surprised she was out of Konoha. What are you doing here? He asked. I was sent by Lady Tsunade to speak with Gaara. What are you doing here? She asked her cousin. Neji knew that it would have taken 2 days to get from Konoha to Suna, so the messages crossed. No time. Suna was attacked, we need to get down. Itachi. Kakashi asked and pulled his kunai. Sakura roared, leaping at the elder Uchiha. For Sauske-kun. Itachi didn't move and while Hinata stopped Kakashi, Sakura was caught by her arm and held in the air. It's all your fault, the pink-haired girl wailed. Itachi shook his head and after removing the kunai from her hand released her with a shove back towards her team. He handed the kunai to Neji. Itachi is on our side. He's been under deep cover for years. Neji explained and Hinata nodded. We will talk, Itachi-san. Hinata said. Kakashi shivered at the tone in her voice as did Sakura. Neji looked at his cousin and wondered if he could be in the room for that. Lee twitched and it drew Neji's focus. Right. He looked at Hinata. We're going in, follow in AV formation with Itachi on point. We have 3 objectives here. To see if Guy Sensei is secure in the hospital still. Find the Kazekage and protect him, and to eliminate any threats to the first 2 objectives. Hinata nodded. Hanabi and I will be behind Itachi-san, then Sakura and Kakashi. She looked at her sister. Keep your focus. Hanabi nodded. This was not what she expected for a simple delivery mission. They'd been working on the warehouse when Shizune came and handed Hinata a scroll. After reading it she'd ordered them to prepare for a journey. Another team would continue the work on the warehouse. This was Hanabi's first time out of the village and she was nervous. Neji and his team went first. They entered the destroyed gates, noting that they looked like they'd been destroyed by a bombardment of fireballs and earth bombs. Neji's Byakugan searched and found nothing as they continued on. They made their way to the tower and saw it was gutted like a fish, the floors still standing were smoldering. Kami, what kind of power do they have? Tenten muttered. Lee kept moving and they found the hospital untouched. Entering they found the citizens and ninja receiving care. Nearly every free space was full. Oh, no, a nurse said seeing them. Not more. No, we are coming back from patrol, what happened? Neji asked while Lee moved on to where they knew Guy's room was located. We don't know. Birds dove out of the sky and exploded. The Kazekage fought off the 2 who claimed responsibility. His brother is in surgery right now. Kankuro. Neji asked. What happened to him? He took on Sasori. A voice said and they turned to see Temari and Shikamaru approaching. Both were bandaged. Shikamaru sported some on his chest and arm. Temari sported bloody bandages on her left leg and cheek. They took Gaara. She said. They did some sort of seal that knocked him out. They took him west. Baki and I will accompany you. A woman says. Who are you? Sakura speaks up for the first time since her attack on Itachi. This is Chio. Temari says. I'll be going with you as well. Shikamaru sighs. Troublesome. Alright, I'm in I suppose. The lazy Chunin says. Neji looks at Hinata. You are the ranking superior. He says lowly. Hinata looks at him. Very well. Shikamaru, you have experience as a leader of a pursuit team. The pineapple-shaped head lowers. Man, what a drag. He mutters. He quickly lays out the pursuit formation, Hanabi in the rear with Kakashi. Then Sakura and Temari, Baki and Chio, Lee and Tenten. Shikamaru then has the lead in a diamond formation with himself at the peak, then Hinata and Itachi and finally Neji at point. They set off immediately at top speeds. Konoha, so your plans? Tsunade asked. I plan on finishing as much of their training that I can do, then bring them back. Kyuubi said with a Gaelic shrug. Beyond that, I will let them decide. Tsunade had so many questions, but she didn't know if the Fox Lord would answer her. Tell me Hokage, will Naruto be welcomed back? Tsunade wished she hadn't given up drinking. By a lot of the younger generation, yes. By some of the Jonin and nearly all the Chunin, yes. Tsunade didn't inform him of Hinata's purge of the older generation. I will inform the kit of most of what we talked about. Now the hour grows long, and I must return, otherwise I fear Baiti will get into mischief that even rivals the trouble a fox can get into. With that he vanished by simply fading away as if he'd never been there. I don't like this, Jiraiya said. Minato made that seal to contain the Kyuubi. He shouldn't be free. Do you think he's influenced Naruto against Konoha? No, Tsunade said without hesitation. Naruto won't betray Konoha, like Konoha has betrayed him. It's not in his nature. He can't not care. She paused then continued, he might be a bit rude and sarcastic when he comes back, but in time he will forgive, and besides, she smirked at her former teammate, he's going to be Hokage someday. Undervis. This is not a good idea. Micah said as they finished packing the gear they'd bought. I'm bored. We can train a bit. Naruto, we were supposed to take it easy, and just get prepared for the journey. Micah said. Well, a quick spar would prepare. Besides, I need to get used to this new sword before we have to fight any fiends. Naruto pleaded holding up his new sword. Micah shook his head. The katana was covered with runes. Micah pointed out that it could be cursed, but Naruto wanted it. I really think we should wait for Master Q. Those runes could be bad news. Oh come on. Don't be such a worrywart. Besides, look at the blade, it has that orange tinge to it, it looks so cool. Micah shook his head. I thought we broke you of that bad habit of liking anything shiny and or orange. Naruto laughed, then gave him the puppy dog eyes. Gah, not that look. Damn it Naruto, Micah gave in and grabbed his Hanzo sword. Alright, fine. A short spar. But if anything goes wrong. What could possibly go wrong? Naruto asked. What can go wrong he says. Micah muttered looking at the 9-foot-tall fiend. A hunting party of lizard men surrounded them and Naruto looked at him sheepishly. How was I supposed to know? You cursed us. You know better than to ask that question, and I was a fool to agree to spar after you said it. Micah growled, the Hanzo sword in his hand seemed to actually hum in anticipation. Particles of dirt were rising in the air as Micah's wind shield was slowly spiraling about him. You can't believe that. Hell, that's like saying I wish a beautiful woman would drop in and save us. Both boys jumped when an arrow slammed into the lead lizard man's end. It made a gurgling sound and toppled backwards with a loud thud. They looked at where it had come from and saw Nami standing atop the outpost, her bow drawn and another arrow notched. I wish a million Ryo would fall from the sky. Naruto said looking up. Alas no luck there as it continued to be just clear sky. Nice try anyways, Micah said and lunged. The Hanzo blade slid through the armor like a hot knife and butter. Naruto's own sword was slicing apart lizard hide and armor with a matching ease. Several more arrows flew and while one lizard man got a shield in the way and held a spear, another wasn't as lucky as 2 arrows caught it first in the shoulder spinning it about and then right between the eyes. She's good, Micah said as his wind lashed out and snapped the end of a lizard man while the Hanzo sword in his hands decapitated another. Hey, where'd they all go? Naruto asked as he SD another lizard man across the chest. There, Micah said and watched as a pair of them seemed to burrow into the ground. Damn it, come back here you walking luggage. I'm not done yet, Naruto said. Micah turned and saw Nami was gone as well. Huh, he muttered. What in the name of Kami's wings is going on here? Oh, hey master, Naruto said, scratching his head with his free hand while looking at the shade with a sly grin. How's your day? They're in that cave, Neji informed Shikamaru and Hinata. The group had found the trail easily, the former Akatsuki members weren't even trying to hide their trail. They're not afraid, Shikamaru muttered. Would you be if you could level a whole village? Chio said. The old woman had been short-tempered and snappish the whole time since they left Suna. Temari had just ignored her as had Baki. How do you want to do this? Kakashi asked. He actually liked not being in charge. We'll go in waves, Shikamaru said, using a kunai to draw it out in the sand. Team 9 will go in first with Itachi. Hinata's team will be in next after Team 9 has engaged the Akatsuki. Shikamaru said, drawing in the sand some more. I'll be with them, he continued. Team Suna will be last. I want to save my brother, Temari voiced. And you can. But wait until we have them engaged. Suggestion. Itachi said. Replace the Haruno with Baki, and the youngest Hyuga with Temari. Sakura looked enraged. Why? Shikamaru asked. It would be wise to have a Byakugan user in each group since we have 3 of them. Also Baki and Temari are more experienced. Finally, the Haruno girl has been useless in nearly every fight and would be better used as medic and bodyguard for Chiyo-sama. Shikamaru weighed the information and nodded. Agreed. Baki prepared his weapons and Temari smiled, thinking she'd be getting revenge for Kankuro and rescue Gaara. What? You're listening to him? Sakura said in disbelief. Sasuke would have. You will not mention that name again, Haruno. Shikamaru said before Hinata said anything. No one here cares about your delusions with the traitor. Lady Tsunde's orders are he is to be killed on sight. No, Sakura said in disbelief. Sakura. Hinata said in a cold, calm voice that Temari thought would have made Gaara of old proud. You will do as you're told. You fail and I will kill you where you stand. Chio nodded at the commanding tone in the younger woman's voice. She just wished that they'd not left the pink-haired butt pain with her. Go, Hinata said. Deidara looked on as the hired sorcerer performed the ritual to draw the tailed demon out. Sasori sat on the other side of the cave, his eyes closed. Ever since Pain-sama left, we've all lost power. The ring crumbled and turned to dust. The noob Nin thought. How much longer? He asked, watching as the sorcerer made markings on the cave floor. Not long, it's nearly complete. The robed man said, his dark eyes watching Gaara for signs of movement. How long would that spell last? Deidara asked. Till I release it. I need to concentrate. Deidara sighed. He hated waiting. He looked up in time to see 3 nins and a very familiar figure enter the front of the cave. Itachi. Sasori was in motion, his puppets already going to attack. The former Suna nin was controlling 9 of them at once. Protect the sorcerer. He must complete the ritual, he said. Deidara sneered, seeing the leaf symbol. Ah, so when crawling back to your former masters, Itachi. Shame, we might have shared Shukaku with you. He used his ability and lobbed several clay bombs at the nin while laughing like mad. Z pattern. Neji ordered and Lee and Tenten moved and avoided the explosives. I will deal with Deidara, Itachi said, moving off to fight the former Iwa nin. So it's down to us now, hey Uchiha. Deidara said as his hands were forming more explosives. You will just as easily as kiss him, Itachi said coldly. Across the cavern, Team 9 was having trouble with the puppet master as he blocked them from reaching the sorcerer. Lee's fists were effective as were Neji's Juken strikes. Tenten's claws were slicing up the puppets, but the 3 noticed that they were self-repairing the damage. We need to hurry, she said, her Pantera taking one of the limbs off the faceless puppet's arms. Lee's hurricane kick sent several puppets crashing. Oh no you don't, boy, Sasori said, and 3 more puppets converged on Lee. Neji was surrounded by 4 and Tenten was fighting 3 as well. The second team entered the cave to see Itachi dodging explosive clay birds from Deidara and Team 9 fighting hard against the puppet troops of Sasori. Temari saw her brother in a strange circle and her eyes narrowed, seeing the sorcerer chanting and runes lighting up as he finished and moved on to the next rune. Baki stepped in and unfortunately he stepped on one of Deidara's traps before Hinata could do anything. He was blown back, his left leg gone from just above the knee down. Hold, Shikamaru said. Hinata, activating her Byakugan, she scanned the cave. The whole place is rigged, she said. Troublesome, Shikamaru said. Didn't figure they'd rigged their own place while in it. Gaara. Temari yelled and tried to rush in, but Kakashi grabbed her arm. Wait, you rush in you'll end up like him, he said, gesturing towards where Baki lay. The Suna Nin gritted her teeth. Tell the slug to hurry up then. Hinata was first in formation with Shikamaru marking the areas she pointed at with senbon needles. Hurry up, Temari growled. You're welcome to rush in and lose a limb or your life. We don't know if the others are tied together or if they go off one at a time. Shikamaru said. Kakashi, signal the others to hold off, the Chunin said as he tossed another needle. Kakashi summoned a nin dog and sent it back out with a message for the last group. Temari in the middle, Kakashi come last. Hinata paused. What is it? Shikamaru asked. There are clay bombs burrowing under here. They keep moving, she said. So that's how Team 9 missed them. The Nara genius muttered. Can you see if any of the explosives are linked? Not that I can see. Hinata admitted. We leap from here, Shikamaru said. Kakashi will go first. We'll leapfrog with Hinata, then Temari, then me. Hinata will keep an eye on the bombs. If they move, warn us. Kakashi landed first. Watch your left, a foot away. Hinata warned. She leapt and Kakashi caught her. She looked on and leapt again and landed. Clear here. Temari leapt and leapt again, joining her. Shikamaru landed and leapt and then Kakashi followed. They repeated with Hinata telling Kakashi where to land and then leaping herself. Shikamaru was in the air when Hinata saw one of the burrowing bomb moving with him. Shikamaru. Kakashi launched a kunai at the same time the burrowing bomb broke the surface and Shikamaru was on his descent. Under this, Naruto sulked as Q ranted at him and Mika about irresponsible behavior. And you, Q said, rounding on Mika. I told you to stay out of trouble, and letting him have a rune sword. Do you even know what that could do? Q floated back and forth and both boys figured if he'd been solid there would be rut in the floor of their room right now. We just were doing some light sparring. Naruto said in defense. Those lizard guys just came out of nowhere. I told you to remain inside. Q roared. I didn't want you to encounter any of the hunters or even fiends without me around to either negotiate or tell you how to get past them. We kicked their asses, Naruto said, puffing up. You got lucky. If that girl hadn't come to bail her boyfriend here out, you'd have been taken down. Not her boyfriend, Mika said softly. He was subdued, he wasn't happy that Q was disappointed in them. He felt like he'd let their master down and hadn't followed his orders. Yet she's following you, Q said. Fine, since you're both so full of energy, then finish packing, we're leaving. The Okage are not known to give up. They'll be back, and in greater numbers. Q moved further on. Be ready in 5 minutes. I need to warn the outpost owner about the Okage so he can prepare the defenses. Couldn't we stay and help? Naruto asked. No, we have a lot to do, and we're running out of time. Q said. He drifted to the door, and paused. And we need to talk tonight. It's about Konohagakure. What? Hey, come back here, stupid fox. Naruto stopped as Mika's hand wrapped around his bicep. He said tonight, Naruto. The silver-haired teen said. Yeah, but, you can't just wait till then after saying something like that. Naruto argued. He can and did. He is our master now, Naruto. You've trusted him this far. I'm sure it can wait. Naruto pouted as he gathered their storage scrolls and slid them into their slots inside his jacket. Probably wants to talk about leveling the place. Naruto muttered. A small part of him wanted to, badly for the past and how they always treated them. But the larger part of him wanted to see his friends, and he wanted to see Bar-chan. Talk about a glutton for punishment. I just keep getting kicked and I want more of it. The blonde thought, picking up his new sword. Did the old fox say if I could use this or not? I sort of zone out during his lecture. Mika sighed. Naruto. He muttered, shaking his head. He was glad there was some things about the blonde that never changed. You can use it, but remember you can't use chakra. The runes will absorb it. We were lucky you didn't use any while wielding it earlier. Naruto slid the sheath over his shoulder and sighed. The store owner refused to buy it back and didn't have another sword as a group of hunters had just cleaned him out. Naruto saw Mika was slipping on a fur cloak and hood. Why not just warm a jacket? The blonde asked, slipping his own fur-lined coat on over his jacket. Don't forget your gloves, Frostbite will suck big time. Naruto mumbled, well, not all of us can use wind to keep warm. True, but also Vunla helps. Naruto groaned, remembering one of the lessons Q had taught them on using Vunla to resist heat or cold. You suck, Naruto muttered, and Micah laughed as he slipped out the door, missing the tossed pillow. Naruto kicked it back to the room as he left and looked up at the sky. Half the day was over. Get a move on, Kit. We have miles to go and it gets even colder on the tundra at night. Q said as he drifted off. Micah and Naruto leaping after him, their Vunla-powered leaps carrying them further than chakra-powered ones could. The cave. It has begun. The sorcerer arched his back as the runes shirred across the cave floor and seemed to bind Gaara. The combatants stopped as a shadowy figure rose up from Gaara, who woke screaming in pain, as if his very soul was being dragged from him. Not good, Shikamaru said from where he was balancing on the ring of the kunai that was embedded in the rock. Shikamaru sighed, seeing the burrow bomb slide back under the ground, and the young Chunin leapt and landed next to Kakashi. Thanks, he said. No problem. Shikamaru looked to the circle and shook his head. We don't have time for this. But there are 2 of those burrowing bombs between us and there. Hinata said, her Byakugan scanning the cave. Enough of this, Temari said, and leapt into the air and using her fan floated over the moving minefield. She landed next to the sorcerer and with a swipe of her fan sending him flying into the wall, where he hit one of the bombs and was sent flying back towards Temari, his back smoking. Temari saw him coming and swung her battle fan, and he was slammed into the ground by a downward swipe. Asshole. What did you do to my brother? She snarled at the battered and bleeding sorcerer. Gaara's howl of pain filled the cavern and the 2 battles resumed. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.